And remember, the substantial rating was 10% or beyond. List us in the substantial, which would only allow special populations or elementary students to come into our buildings. That is the guidance that we are going to continue to adhere to. So a safe return of a Monday or a Tuesday, January 19th return for all students in a hybrid fashion is not going to take place. So on Tuesday, we are going to get into the substantial rate and who we're going to bring in. But if you could take a peek at this last asterisk on this slide, you're going to see that Luzerne County has been substantial for 16 consecutive weeks. This is the highest consistent rate in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So right now we're living in the epicenter within the Commonwealth of positive cases that hasn't showed any subsidence whatsoever. So as a result, the state has assigned Luzerne County Schools a Department of Education liaison on how to continue to navigate during these dangerous times. So the next slide is going to roll out as to how we are going to get our students back to a safe return. So keeping in mind the substantial status for 16 straight weeks, we are going to slowly trickle our students back into our buildings. And on Tuesday, February 16th, the day after President's Day, we are going to bring our highest need students back into the building. So if you take a peek here at this slide, our autistic support, our emotional support, and our life skills classrooms will be our first on the agenda for a safe return. Other students that are considered or categorized as high need students will be a case-by-case basis. So our special education administrators and our director will reach out to families on a case-by-case basis with the offerings of a safe return into our buildings. The next slide is going to speak of the proposed return of our general population into the buildings on March the 1st. The proposed date, all of these dates are all subject to change based on the community health status with the positivity rates. Today's rate of 25% is the best rate we have seen since October. So we are moving in the right direction, folks. However, we will continue to monitor the status, and if it keeps going in the trend that it was today, then we can get our highest need population and our general population back into the buildings. We will start matriculating these students back in as of March 1, and we will do that in the format that we did in the fall, which is the hybrid A, B, or blue-white schedule. Building level principals will reach out to you about student-specific categorization, meaning reminding you and refreshing you of your memory, refreshing your memory of whether you are an A or a B or a blue or white schedule student. So just in case any folks had forgotten what their student was. March 1st would naturally include the elementary students based on the recommendation from the Department of Health, beginning with kindergarten students. Okay, so students that are in the general population, we would start matriculating them in at the elementary level, beginning with kindergarten. Every single additional population that we will add, we will be in some form of communication through a community update as we are doing right now, or a one call or social media updates by myself or your building level principal. Next slide is going to speak to the fact that all of these, if you remember from the fall, is all of your choice. So a parent that is sitting on here right now wondering whether you can just play it safe and keep your student in the remote format, not have to worry about any positivity cases, it's not going to make a difference. Perhaps you and your family have settled into a nice routine and not have to worry about any precautions. You could always remain in this full remote format. This is something that we will continue to do until the end of the school year. However, if there are folks that want to partake in the hybrid format. That's going to, I'm going to refresh your memory. That's going to be 1 week in the building, Monday through Thursday, Friday off for a deep clean, and then 1 week in the remote format. And then we will continue to alternate those weeks. As we begin this process, we will release the calendar that speaks to blue and white schedules, so it's an easy visual for our families to follow along. And as always, once we begin to bring students back into the buildings, we will be providing transportation. But again, as it says on the top of this slide, it's always a parent choice. Parent wants to transport the student, that's more than fine with us. But if not, we are going to bus students in accordance with all the guidelines set forth by the Department of Health and Education. 1 student per seat, window seat only, for a maximum 18 on 1 bus. There are exceptions if they are siblings. We can share a seat if there's a controlled environment within the household. The very next slide is going to talk about the refresh your memory of some of the safety measures that the Hanover Area School District has taken to make sure that our staff and our students always enter a safe environment. The very first step every day and each day in the morning is an entrance ticket. It was the scan with a smartphone or an iPad or a tablet of some sort to scan a barcode, which will prompt several questions concerning any symptoms associated with COVID-19. And if there is a response of yes to any of those questions, we would like you to keep those students home. Please do not send students into the building. And if you recall, last time we spoke, we were getting an installation of what they call a DriftNet security system, a Navigate 360, which is a monitoring system on the ceiling of every building in every classroom that monitors body temperature and symptoms associated with COVID-19 that would prompt an emergency response of our school nurse and administration to take the necessary protocols to get everyone to safety and remove the student experiencing those symptoms to a safe isolation zone and get those students to where they need to be. And if you recall, in the fall, we had desk shields for every student. Those shields are cleaned, they are stored, and they are one added layer of keeping a barrier between the already socially distanced classrooms, and it continues to add layers of protective barriers between students atop of having to wear a mask in the buildings, okay? If you recall the Jan Pro spray, this was the surgical spray that was good for a 6-month period of time. Very durable spray that kills COVID-19 on contact if there was someone to touch a light switch, a door handle, whatever it might be, with any molecules or form of the virus, it's killed on contact. Obviously, we would continue to enforce the social distancing guidelines, but bringing our youngest students back first, being highest priority. We are going to have wall and floor indicators, as we are going to suspect that a kindergarten student would not understand what 6 feet looks like. So indicators are on the floor and the wall to reinforce this, to assure optimal safety. And then again, as I said, Monday through Thursday education with constant cleaning by our maintenance and custodial staff throughout the course of the day, but then a deep clean and a disinfectant spray on Friday to assure that there's a safe environment for the following week and the next round of hybrid students. Next slide is going to speak of if we did run into a positive case within the district. Okay, we're in an active educational day. Our DriftNet security system picks up an increased body temperature or some form of indication that a student is experiencing symptoms of COVID-19. We will follow all guidelines set forth to isolate this student and get students to a protective area to minimize exposure any further than they have already experienced. But then we are also going to follow up with staff and student possibly exposed will receive a personalized phone call from our school nurse or our administrative staff notifying of a potential exposure. And then you will be followed up with a notification in writing from the school district spelling out any guidelines from the Department of Health on how you get your recommended treatments and protect the spread of the virus any further. The Department of Health and Education has also given us guidelines on how long and how many days we need to close a building for appropriate disinfectant and sanitation purposes. So we will follow that matrices as it comes out. And then my mantra in the fall, if you remember, if we're spending more time outside the building due to positive cases and school closures, I will return us back to a remote status. There is no need for families to attempt to settle back into a different routine other than what we have right now, which seems to be consistent to most folks. And we've settled into a nice childcare situation or, some type of learning platform that students are somewhat getting used to. So there's no need to continue to interrupt and try to make attempts for families to get other childcare issues to create disruptions for you any further. One side note that's not on this slide, if we could go to the next slide, I would like to explain a mitigation process that our central administrative team, along with our building level administrators, is that we are also understanding and being mindful that this has not been the best semester for students to learn in. The ability for the teachers, a student to walk up to the teacher and ask for a clarifying issue or to get a little further feedback is not readily available to students. And we're mindful that, there's households where parents are not teachers. So we're mindful of the possibility of learning loss. Taking that into consideration, this administration is building a plan to try to mitigate as much loss as we can. And we are going to begin the process of trying to make any type of effort to have after school programs or have tutoring, whether it be on the weekend or throughout the course of summer, once we enter into a better health community status. But we are mindful of it. It is on the forefront. And I understand that if it's a concern as a parent, that we do have this same concern. And we are going to try to mitigate this to the best of our ability. And we are analyzing student performance data that is historic. What I mean by historic is if we see a student that is normally an 80 student that is now performing as a 70% student, we are going to take a close look at whether it has to do with this, this platform and the inability to have resources readily available to them, if that's the reason why. So I'm mindful of this. It hasn't been the best, but we're trying to do the best that we can. And the most important thing is keeping you safe and keeping the people in your household safe and people in our community safe. As a result, that has been the reason for the format we have chosen, and I will continue to choose. So at this point, any additional questions that you may have, I'm going to spend as much time to answer them with you. On the screen here, we have folks that can provide any additional resources or support to you based on what school your child goes to, or if your child receives title services or special education services. Everybody is listed on here that can help you any further. This also is being recorded and will be put onto our YouTube page, Hanover Area School District YouTube page. If you need to go back and refresh and look at anything, or someone couldn't make it this evening, you could refer them to this particular date on our page. But otherwise, please, if you have questions, take as much time as we possibly need and use the raise your hand icon at the bottom of the screen. And Mrs. Kitchen will call on you individually, and however long it takes, I'll be glad to spend that time with each and every one of you.
Luke Matthews, do you have a question?
Yeah, I do. Hi, Mr. Barrett. Hi, Lisa.
Mr. Matthews.
So when you talk about March 1st coming back, using the term general population, and then further down, you said something about the elementary level students first, beginning with kindergarten. Can you draw that out a little bit more for me? I don't quite understand what starting with kindergarten means.
Of course, yes. So what we would do is there would be a general population of the students, means that, as I just explained, students who receive specialized services are that high need category. So that's what I meant. So if there was an autistic support student, those are the students we're going to roll in first. Okay, so and then the general population we're going to bring in. So the very first thing that we're going to do is the general population is a student that does not need services. We're going to begin at the kindergarten level and roll them in. I do not want to send high school, our 4 through 6 kids, or our 4 through 5 kids, our 6th grade kids, and everybody into the building all at once, and have the possibility of being a super spreader, so to speak. So when we go on March 1st, we are going to begin with the added layer of kindergarten students first. And then we'll take that week by week, and we'll continually, on a week by week basis, add another layer of students. Because as if you recall in the beginning, Mr. Matthews, that it's stating that the kids in the secondary level, they recommend keeping them out of the building in the remote status for right now. So my focus, I hope it's clarifying, is that I get my elementary kids back first, before or immediately following my highest need students. So I'm going to begin with that.
Got it. So the secondary students, once the level is below substantial, then they'll be considered. We'll start to consider bringing them in.
Yes. So moderate. Once we reach moderate, we're trending nicely. I mean, we came down 10 points in 1 week. So if that continues the trend like that, maybe by February, when we're bringing our kids back, we might be a moderate, and then I'm calling another community night and saying, listen, we've dipped into moderate. We're bringing kids back on an AB schedule. So right now, this is all with the speculation that we're going to remain in substantial, and this is based on the recommendation of that liaison that was assigned to us. We've been trending in substantial and haven't budged, but keep in mind, I have from today is exactly 1 month and 2 days away from the first student return physically. So you may be hearing from me in 2 weeks and saying, listen, we're going to be coming back to school in the moderate status. So, but right now, this is my plan if we remain in substantial.
Got it. Appreciate it.
No problem. I thank you. And I'm sorry if it wasn't that clear. It did, now that I think about it, it did sound confusing.
Avery,
Hi, Avery.
Avery, do you have a question? Okay, we'll move. Okay, Avery. All right, we'll move on to Jessica.
Yes, hello.
Jessica.
I just have a question. I guess it doesn't really pertain to the going back to school portion of it. But with the homeschooling portion, I'm still having personally issues with the parent portal, and I'm not getting any answers or help with it.
Okay. All right.
And so I can't even see where my kids are at. And I'm not getting, I mean, without bugging their teachers.
Jessica, if you could see, could you see my screen?
Yep.
With my email?
Yep.
If you could copy that down, please just give me contact information through that email. And then
Okay.
our IT director or our his counterpart will reach out to you tomorrow and help you through any technical assistance that they can.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's just difficult with being the homeschooling. I don't, like I said, I don't have access to everything to see exactly where my kids are at. And I know the quarter's ending, and I'm basically having to have special meetings with their teachers to find out where they're even at.
Okay,
And I know
perfect. Yeah,
that's hard on the teachers too.
if you could just send me that information, I'll pass that along first thing in the morning, and at some point tomorrow, you'll be hearing from somebody, walk you through
Okay.
that.
All right. That's all I needed. Thank you.
You have a great evening, Jessica.
We have a question from an iPhone guest.
Yeah, I have a question. Come the first, if we're still in substantial, will kindergarten still go back?
Yes, so this is a plan if we remain in substantial. So on March the 1st, barring any increases further than what we're seeing right now, the projection is to bring them in that AB schedule.
So why are we waiting until March 1st? If
We're
the
waiting-
numbers are substantial, is substantial. If we're in it now, or if we're in it March 1st, they're gonna go back. So why are we waiting another month and a?
My plan is to bring highest need students in and see if we remain healthy. And then we're going to bring our general population in. I'm doing this slow and methodically.
Okay.
Does anyone else have a question for Mr. Barrett?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Kelly.
My question is, if we had chosen originally to keep our children home and now we decide we would like them to go back, is that an option?
Of course, yes. So I don't know what slide it was, but everything is a parent choice. So all we have to do is communicate with the teachers as we approach close. So as we get back, no matter how we see you, whether it's online or in person, once
Okay.
we estimate the return, we will take attendance as a quarter according to how we see you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Melissa Williams.
Hi, you had mentioned about recognizing that there's a need for some students who generally were good students prior to the virtual learning and now are struggling. And I have a child that falls into that category who is struggling greatly, and I am involved and we're doing everything we can, but he's facing where he's teetering in a couple of classes where he's failing for half the year. So how is that going to be handled by the district? Because
And
we've
as a-
asked for help, we're just not getting it.
Okay, well, we'll have to talk in a more private setting about
Okay.
that piece if you were asked for support and not receiving it. But what we're doing is we are taking the data that supports what we're seeing of historical data of your student. What I mean by historical, I mean, you mentioned kindergarten, so we don't have historical data with your child, but if we saw a kid that was normally an A student now dropping to a C student, we're going to take into consideration that it has to do with this format. And once we're able to change this format, we will do educational strategies to try to give a massive uptick in the performance. So the change is going to have to be made once we see in person, because if it has to do with this format, right now it's not safe to change it. So once we have that ability, that's when those strategies will go into play.
This isn't for my kindergartner. This is a high schooler. So
Oh, my
is there
mistake.
somebody I
Okay.
should, that's okay. Is there somebody I should reach out to? Because he
Well-
doesn't have like any like special like help otherwise. He was a normal, no IEP, no 504 or anything.
Okay, so if you want to, my email is on that screen there. If you want to send me specific information, and
Okay.
we could speak in a more private setting where
Okay.
we could get you what you need.
Okay, thanks.
Cassandra McDaniels.
Yes, I just have a quick question. We're new to the school district this year. We have 3 students, and My oldest is in 6th and she was doing poorly to begin with, but she's doing better now. But my 5th grader and my kindergartner are doing absolutely horrible. My 5th grader has an IEP, and I was wondering if that is considered special education level or not.
It is. So on the screen here, if you see the third person down, Mrs. Bennett, okay?
Okay.
The email address that's there, if you could possibly send her an email and please put me on it as well.
Okay.
And then we'll get you the service that we need. Again, as I said, to keep the confidence of your child and yourself. We'll set up a time that's more appropriate to help.
Because like he was a straight A student at Valley West, and now his teachers are doing amazing with him. I give his teachers all the credit in the world, but it's just like, I'm afraid, I know even though you said you're going to work with tutoring and stuff, that he's going to fail because of how poorly he's doing.
And again, in the past, our teachers have been doing an amazing job of grading with compassion and understanding. As long as there's effort put forth, and I'm not saying your child not, and please don't take it that way that I'm being facetious at all. I'm just saying to you that our teachers, if you just let them know that normally that's what his grades were, they have been doing a wonderful job with dealing with compassion.
And I just have one more question regarding my kindergartner. Yesterday, we were supposed to have a meeting with Mike McCree, and I called his office. I left him a message. I got a letter in the mail saying when the meeting was, the time, and I tried calling everywhere else, and I could not get in touch with anyone, and I'm still waiting to hear back.
Okay, his email is right here on the left. It's the last one on the screen.
Okay.
You could either take a photo of that or write it down. You send him an email and he will get back to you first thing in the morning. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. You have a wonderful day.
Jessica Booth.
Hi, I'm sorry. I was a little late. When are the special needs kids going back to school?
Tuesday, February 16th.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Gina Thomas.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, Tina.
Okay, I don't have a question. I just wanted to say thank you to you for all that you've done in keeping everyone safe. And I also wanted to say thanks to my children's teachers. The 6th and 9th grade teachers have been awesome.
Thank you very much. I appreciate those kind words. And I'm sure those teachers do as well.
Yep, so pass that on and we're really happy and no complaints. I just wanted to let you know.
Thanks again. Appreciate
All
the
right.
positivity.
All right, no problem. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Leanne Yukonavich.
Hi, I had a question about the pre-K students. Was there a return plan for them?
Yes, so there's going to be a different night held for pre-K. Dr. Pugh is going to handle a community night similar to this at the beginning of next week and roll out the pre-K plan at that point.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Leanne.
There are no more questions, Mr. Barrett.
Okay, folks, I really appreciate you coming on here and I thank you. Anybody needs anything further, please contact me through email there and we'll get back to you immediately. Thanks, folks.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, Teresa.
Thanks.
Mr. Barrett,
Yes.
it's Hillary Gasper. I'm sorry. I just also wanted to tell you thank you, Mr. Barrett. I know you have a lot of heavy decisions that you have to make daily, and I think you are making the best decisions. So I also wanted to tell you thank you for that. Speaking out from a school employee. And I'm not saying it because I don't want to work. Actually, our students are doing great what they're doing online. I really can't believe how great they're doing. But I just wanted to tell you thank you again, because I know they're tough decisions and I guess you can't win either way you go. But
No, we're winning if people are healthy. people are healthy, we're winning.
Exactly. You said safety is the most important thing. And I say this a lot. I know people say that, you know, my students losing out on this or missing that. But coming from a health perspective, nothing else matters if you're not healthy. And that, to me, that's what's the most important thing. So thank you for making tough decisions.
I appreciate that, and thank you.
All right, Mr. Barrett, I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Take care. And there's the most handsome face I've ever seen. Hi, James.
Oh, there's Jimmy boy. All right, good night. See you tomorrow,
Take care.
Jim.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, James. How are you, pal? I miss you, buddy.
I know. I miss you too. I can't wait. I can't wait to come back to school.
Can't wait to see you again, buddy. Congratulations on all your
I
awards.
you back my job with you.
I know I still have your badge. Waiting to go.
Yeah.
All right, handsome.
See ya.
Take care. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care, folks.
Mr. Barrett, I have a question.
Go ahead, Mr. Gao.
Hey, how about the kids that are asthmatic? Because all three of my kids are asthmatic, and my nephew also. I was just curious on how that's going to work with the masks and everything.
Okay, well, you have the option where you don't have to send them. Okay, that's always an option for you if you feel that's the best. But there will be mask breaks at the discretion of the teacher, but masks are going to be required.
Yeah, no, I knew they were required. I just wanted to, you know, are they going to get the breaks, you know, with the kids that are asthmatic? And, you know, I'm not
Sure.
talking just for mine, it's the other kids as well, you know, because.
Of course. Yeah, and I appreciate that.
My main one is Claire. She's very bad asthmatic. She goes through has all types of medication for it. So it's like, I want to, you know, double check on how that's going to work with all kids.
Yeah, and that's gonna we'll have to communicate with that with the teachers, and you know, they'll use their discretion. They'll give times and mask breaks, but it would be at the comfort level and the health status of the teacher as well. So we have to be mindful of everybody in the surrounding area, and as well as your child and the others experiencing the same thing. So make sure we try to do the best we can to accommodate all.
All right, thank you very much.
It was nice seeing you.
Nice seeing you, buddy.
Mr. Barrett, there's one last question. Kylie Sock.
Hi, Kylie.
Kylie, do you have a question?
Are you there?
Yes. Yes, I'm here.
You there, Mr. Barrett?
Mr. Sock, I'm here.
All right. I don't know how to operate this, so.
That's okay, buddy.
So here's my questions, like the SHINE program. Once the kids return back to school, are they going to be using the school for able to get the SHINE program back into the school?
I can't guarantee that. I just want to get us off the ground right now before we continue to add layers of educational components like that. So if you don't mind, I could get back to you on that, because I'm just trying to get these kids back safely right now, as well as my staff. And it's, you know, this is I'm not very comfortable bringing people back in the state mandating this. As I said before in the past, you know, we were hunkered down for the storm. The eye of the storm is right above us right now, and they're asking us to come out of the bunker, and I don't like it.
Listen, I get you. I spent my week in the hospital with COVID, so trust me, I know.
Yep. So the purpose of me saying that is, please don't ever take it as disrespectful to you.
No,
but
no,
I'm
not
just
at all.
nervous to bring them back, period. So I haven't even gotten there yet. So I'm sorry, I'm unprepared for your answer.
No, and that's not a problem. I wasn't sure because like my son, my 4th grade son, he's giving me a run for my money here learning virtually. So but his teachers have been fantastic with communicating with me via email, and I try to get on top of everything,
Sure.
My next question would be, I noticed a few of the school districts for athletic purposes are allowing 2 parents into the gym to watch games.
Yes, sir.
Is Hanover looking to do the same or not?
So for the gymnasium that we have, it's a 10% capacity right now, according to the Department of Health standards. So we house 1,000 people, so it limits us to 100 people. So it varies based on sport. So there is going to be a formula that comes out. And right now with basketball, we're allowing 1 senior parent each. But I will have that schematic put on our website, if you don't mind, because it's going to vary based on JV. It's going to vary based on wrestling, because the less and less people in that gymnasium, the more and more parents we can allow in. And what I mean by people is if we have cheerleaders, which we do for the varsity squad, we have coaching members, we have press, we have the opposing team and their coaching staff. The more and more people that we need to allow in just to participate limits the amount of parents. So right now we were working on that because wrestling, our numbers are low as far as the team participation is concerned. So we could let both parents in for wrestling. But
yeah, my son plays junior high basketball, so that's the only reason I was.
So
asking.
we're going to try to eliminate, if there's no cheering there, then we can allow both parents. But we're trying.
It's only me. I'm by myself. So
okay, I'm sorry.
And no, that's okay. That's why I was curious.
So you'll be allowed. So you will be allowed.
All right, because I know they're starting this weekend. So
Yep.
I didn't know if I would be allowed in this weekend, or are we going to push that off yet?
Is it
another
girls or
week?
boys?
Boys.
Okay, you're good.
Okay, so I can come to the game on Saturday.
Mr. Barrett, it's Mike McCree.
Okay.
Bart Reynolds.
Not yet with the 7th and 8th grade. There's another issue with that league because it's run through the west side. So we have to work through some things with that. So this week it'll be live streamed. And then once we get some clarity, there's some things with officials not wanting to ref if we allow fans in. So we have to work through that. So after this week, hopefully we'll be able to have some, fans on that game, depending again with the numbers of, participants on both teams, because we're going to have the 7th grade team in the gym and the 8th grade in the gym. So depending on the number, the formula, and how many they're bringing, it'll determine, how many, allow in, whether it's 1 ticket per participant, 2 tickets per participant. So, we'll hopefully have that worked out. With the 7th and 8th grade, probably no fans at any other games, because if you look at the thing I'm going to post tonight, not many other schools besides Lake Lehman are letting junior high parents in.
Okay. Well, I believe my son's also going to play freshman. That's why that was my.
Yeah,
So
the freshmen,
curious
we won't have a problem at all. And then we'll post as we do our opponents if they're allowing fans in or not. So
right,
we're
okay.
trying. It's just
no, and I get that because I coach myself. So and I'm running stuff at different gyms. So I get it, and whatever the case may be.
And again, like not the point, but we had 90 people at our boys basketball the other night without any parents at the game. So
spectators.
We'll have the formula, and it may change opponent to opponent.
So Bert, a quick question for you, Bert, is it because of the officials, or why aren't we using our formula for 7th and 8th grade?
7th, 8th grade is a separate league. The West Side Tech, and some of those officials won't ref at places if they allow fans. Maybe because again, they're more susceptible to the COVID.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
And again, same thing. We're going to work with the officials. We're going to work with other teams with the masks, and we're going to try to keep our kids as safe as possible. Knock on wood, we got 3 varsity events in, no issues, and kids are doing well and competing.
Wonderful. Sorry for the misinformation, Mr. Sock.
That's all right. I was kind of going with my thought pattern was going the same way as Mr. McCree's anyway, because I know that there will be substantial amount of players. I mean, obviously our 7th grade team's a little less than most because I think there's only 5 kids. But and then the 8th grade would be more kids, and and I get that bumps up the numbers. I definitely understand that. Then what was I had a third question. Now that I lost my train of thought. I really can't think of it right now. I did have a third question. There was 3 in my head, and I just saw for some reason I lost it. So because I was trying to figure out how to even get onto this thing, to be honest. But I just can't. For some reason, I can't think of it right now, Mr. Barrett.
Okay, maybe there's another question and we could circle back. This is Kitchen. Do we have another question?
You do not, Mr. Barrett.
But it's obviously it must not be as super important as I thought it was.
How about, did you get the email that my email address? On the previous
I
screen?
can get it. That's not a problem.
Okay.
If I think of it, I'll shoot an email regarding it. So, and then my 4th question was going to be, how's Coach Gray? That's another concern, obviously, for my son, and
we're concerned. We're all wishing him the best. I appreciate your concern, and we'll let him know that you were asking about him. That's very nice of you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
actually, I did reach out to him a while back, and he was in the hospital same time I was. So that's yeah.
Right, that's nice of you. Thank you for the concern. We'll pass that along. Very nice
But
of you.
yeah, like I said, I have a lot of questions usually that pop into my head. I don't always write them down because I got so many other things going on and not enough time to write them down. But I will have some more questions, and when I do, I'll just forward them through in an email and see what you have to
Always
say.
here.
So, but like I said, the 2 teachers that my one son has for 4th grade, they've been very outstanding at communicating with me, and for him to get in trouble. So, but I do appreciate their help and their commitment to try to help get through all this.
Well, I appreciate those kind words, and I'll pass that along to the 4th grade teachers, and appreciate your kind words and your patience through this.
No problem. I can only do what we can do, right? So
that's right. You're right.
We can't fix it. So now here's a question: if the kids, say the kids get the vaccine, will that automatically start eliminating a lot of the stuff? Because I plan on having my kids vaccinated as soon as I can, since I work in law enforcement. I'm eligible to get mine. The only problem is they told me since I had the COVID and the antibodies, I had to wait 90 days.
It's still gonna prevent them from being ill. Obviously, I'm not a medical professional, but
yeah,
it's gonna prevent them from being ill. But there's still a pass-through agent that they could get others sick. So
okay,
we're still gonna monitor that closely. Even though you are vaccinated, you could still be a spreader. So but again, I'm no medical expert by any means.
No, I get you.
It's Megan McCabe, the school nurse.
There's the medical expert.
The vaccine is not approved for anyone under the age of 16 at this point. So unfortunately, none of the kids are going to be eligible until it goes through the trials for kids through the CDC and it gets approved for them.
Oh, okay. Well, that's so. I mean, I'm not super concerned. All my kids have it. So, like at this point in time, we're not super concerned about it. And my kids actually, one had a runny nose and a cough for a day, and the other 2 didn't have anything. So, but, all right. Well, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Mr. Sock. Thanks. Nice talking to you.
You too. Take care. Have a good evening.
You too. Ms.
right.
Kitchen, we have anything further?
No, that's all, Mr. Barrett.
Okay, everybody have a wonderful night. Thank you very much. Thanks, Megan McCabe. Thanks, Burt Reynolds. Talk soon, okay?